Okay, so I know it's technically not the new year anymore, but that's why this t-shirt says progress, not perfection, because at least it is still January, right? Hey folks, it's Finn. Welcome back, lovely people. It is fabulous to see you here in 2023. Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to my videos in 2023 and not abandoning me in 2023 and thinking that I just wasn't going to be here because it's now the 10th of January and I promised you a video in the new year, but it is still technically the new year. Just about. And welcome to anyone new. Hello! Let's start an adventure together in 2023. So this first vlog of the new year, Happy New Year, is my January New Year vlog. I think we've covered that, Finn. So we're starting off, as I mean to go on, in a total mess because I'm not making any resolutions of that changing because it's just not going to, because I have a chronic illness and it's not getting better anytime soon. So any idea of me getting any sense of routine, order, me making sense isn't going to happen, so I'm not going to promise it. That's my New Year's resolution. To not promise anything I can't deliver on because it's just not deliverable. Yeah, so welcome if you're just joining in. Here is my promise to you. Nothing. And that's what we should all strive to do. Just do what we can and promise nothing. That's not my motto, I promise. Okay, seriousness. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. And I hope you're all gentle with yourselves. And I hope you are all settling into the new year and not setting yourself any hard boundaries. I am somebody who does not like New Year's resolutions. Even before I became chronically unwell with ME/CFS, anybody who knows me and has followed my journey, my long-time Finn fam folks, the Finn fam are what I call subscribers. I don't like the word subscribers and followers. It makes me sound like Jesus, and I'm not Jesus. The Finn fam family. I am somebody who's really heavily involved in the comment section, which you probably noticed. So it's the community of Finn fam folks. So if you're a subscriber here, you are part of the Finn fam. And as the Finn fam will know, I have very much shied away from resolutions because they're like these kind of, they always feel self kind of like telling offy. I also make up words here. So it feels like we're telling ourselves off for what we haven't achieved, and we're setting ourselves these really hard goals at a really difficult time of the year where it's winter, England, and it's like we get over this really difficult heavy Christmas and it's like, right, it's January, we got to suddenly go out and run and we got to give up this and we got to give up that and blah blah blah. Wow. Be gentle, you know. And then we get to February, then we've broken all these things anyway, and also it means we set ourselves these hard goals and in just like blinkered to achieve them, we start like our journey into the year and all these other things happen because we're so blinkered, we don't like assimilate all this new stuff we're learning, and then we don't like bring these into our plans, and we should be adapting and growing as we go on. So I don't like hard goals and stuff. I prefer to just use the new year as a time to like really reflect on what's happened in the year previously, and then use that reflection to think ahead to like what I might like to experience in the coming year, kind of my attention and focus I might want to set for the year ahead, kind of like intentions for the coming year rather than hard goals. I will now get off my soapbox while you just let that soak in. So yes, that's what I've been doing, and you might have heard me mention this. I'm just going to move my notebook. So you might have heard me mention this thing, the year compass. I'll put a link in the bottom if anyone's interested. It's a really, really helpful tool. It's like a reflection tool. I'm not going to show you all because it's got very, I'm going to share it anyway. So it's just got very kind of bits that you fill in about your highlights from the year and things you can reflect on What was your highest moments, things you've achieved, things you're proud of, things you remember, things you didn't achieve, things you've learned, lots of different reflection exercises from the past year and then looking ahead. And I just find it really useful. It's really useful for kind of, we can often look at the past year and think, oh, I really wish I'd done that, and I didn't do this, and you can feel disappointed. And then you can look back at this and think, actually, I didn't do X, but I did all of this instead. And, you know, so it's really helpful. It's a kind of gratitude tool as well, because when we feel low, we can think really badly of stuff and make this big mountain out of a molehill. But when you dig down, you actually go, oh, wow, there's so much to be proud of. And we start feeling grateful for everything we do have and really proud of the things we've done rather than feeling all the things we haven't done or the things we don't have. Does that make sense? I'm waffling today. I'm in a good mood today. Have you noticed? I'm actually feeling quite well today, so I'm waffly. So yes, I've spent the last kind of 10 days doing that. I've actually not been very well. I started the new year off in Migraine City because, well, I just really overspent the spoons over Christmas, as you do. I went and stayed with some family, and family can be quite draining, as lovely as they are. When you've got ME, lots of talking, lots of people, lots of stimulations, just crashed a bit afterwards. So I spent the first lot of time with migraine, lots of time in bed, and then when I was recovering, I spent lots of time filling this in. Take as long as you like. So let's talk through my 2022 and kind of things that I've been reflecting on. So lots of this I've shared here already, and I'm going to be really honest here. I'm really honest in what I share anyway, so I'm going to be very frank and honest about kind of some of the things I've been going through. And I think one of the things that's really coming up for me that has come up a lot in 2022 and I'm going to take forward in 2023 is this process I'm going through of grieving for the life I had and I thought I wanted, and the life I have now and the life I want going forward, which has been caused by my chronic illness. Now, I had completed my gender transition, really kind of comfortable and happy with myself. I met this amazing partner. I was building my own business, you know, I was making videos on here, and that had progressed to writing my own book, which I'm so proud of. There was more projects on the cards of writing more books. I was really developing my speaking career. I was working as a coach and mentor. There was loads of opportunities going forward for loads and loads more things like that. So I was starting to earn my own income, starting to do quite well. And then out of the blue, what had started off as some ill health that was happening over certain periods of time, just like in little pockets, started to become more and more regular and then became permanent, and I became seriously unwell. And then it became clear that what was happening was that I had ME/CFS. And then, as most people know, I'll link videos if you're not aware of this or if you're new here. This became very severe when we moved to Devon in, I get my years confused now, 2021? Yeah. Really confusing, isn't it? So I've been very unwell since then. So since then, I've had to be doing less and less of the work that I've been building up. And to lose that has been incredibly devastating. You know, to suddenly start building this life, from all of my life being focused around kind of going through gender transition, to suddenly have all that over and then start to build my life, and now for that to be taken away, or so it feels, has been really devastating. So as it stands at the moment, all my writing projects have been put on hold. I can no longer do coaching and mentoring because I can't safely hold space for people because my cognitive processing is very much affected. I just haven't got the energy to do that. I'm very much working out that all I've really got the energy to do is things that have no deadline, low energy, flexible. You know, I've worked out a way of doing videos, which is, I know I was joking around in the beginning, but I'm very much like that. You know, sometimes I'm much more coherent and I can speak much more eloquently and in much better sensible order, and then other times it's just a jumble of blah blah blah, blah, So it stopped me making videos for a while because my normal way of being very succinct and very ordered was going, and I also couldn't edit the videos because that was just taking too much energy, so I stopped. I made a decision last year to just press record, say whatever's on my mind, press stop, do very light editing, and upload it. And luckily, everyone's been really appreciative of that honesty and showing what Emmy's like, and really love the new way I'm making content, and I'm so glad of that. So that's been really successful. So that's manageable, and I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm loving that that's allowed me to keep making content. So making videos like this is definitely staying. That's sustainable because it's flexible. It does mean that sometimes you don't get videos for a few weeks when I'm just not well enough, but that's how it has to be. That is something that I'm taking forward into 2023, that loving me, knowing me, working with me is accepting the fact that I am a person that cannot always deliver on time, be there when you need, has to sometimes step back, has to sometimes say no, can't always deliver on time, and that has to be okay because this is how it is, and being okay around that. And the other thing, letting go of coaching and mentoring, that's been really sad, but I'm accepting that is the safest and okayest thing to do because I can't do it. Going forward, I might think of different ways to do that in the future, but I can't for now. Letting go of writing is something I'm absolutely devastated about, but it's too much. It's too much cognitive processing going on to actually physically think of the words, get them from my head to the page, edit, and then there's all the deadlines which is involved with making a book. There's too many ongoing deadlines that are involved. I just can't do. My speaking, I'm still doing. I'm doing less public talks. I'm doing probably it's probably every 3 months at the moment on average, because it takes a lot of resting beforehand. I have like 2 or 3 days where I'm literally doing nothing. Then I'm presenting a talk, and then it's knocking me out for 2 or 3 days afterwards. I do it because it's the most amount of money I can earn, so it makes it worthwhile, and because it's my story, and it's either mental health, gender transition, and that's my story. And although it's writing because I'm tweaking it for a client, it's one story that I just have to tweak a little bit each time, and it's one deadline, so it's more manageable. So basically, going forward, all I'm doing that's earning me money is my public speaking. The rest is passive income from YouTube, from my memberships, and from my merch sales. And of course, that's a worry because it is my income. But more than that, it's the pride that's involved. And that's really hard because, I've taken a lot of time to build this up, build my own reputation up as what I'm good at. And, to see the public speakers around me getting lots of gigs, getting awards, doing really well, other authors who are writing their second books, it's really, really hard. And writing my year compass and like looking at all my achievements compared to last year, TED Talk, writing a book, all of these things, and compared to this year, it's really, really difficult. But I'm having to switch my head in thinking differently about my achievements. And one of the biggest things that helped me this year, and I've mentioned this so many times, was I read Devon Price's book that's called Laziness Does Not Exist. And it's helped me to separate my idea of my worth being tied to my output. And I hadn't realized how much I was doing that. And it's really helping me going forward now to realize that, I am enough just as I am. And I don't have to achieve. I don't have to have written a book, done a TED Talk, having a speaker's award, have done 10 talks in a month, all of these things. It's okay. And it is okay. But there was still these ideas I wanted to do these things. But there's also this rising awareness of did I want to do these things? Because in becoming chronically unwell, there's also this rising awareness of I'm actually quite enjoying resting and being slow. And maybe I've actually wanted that for quite some time. And I've been pushing myself and not realizing just how much I'm pushing myself, you know? And there's an awareness of maybe there was some psychological pushing of myself because I didn't feel enough. I'm working with a counsellor at the moment, and we've been talking a lot around this kind of feeling of, never feeling good enough, of being, I'm a recovering. I've been in recovery for 12 years, but I still talk about myself as a recovering alcoholic. It's just the language I use to keep myself sober. But I'm a recovering alcoholic, clean and sober 12 years. I'm transgender, I'm gay, I have ME/CFS. These are all things that have got stigma attached. And when we have stigmatized identity, you feel less than. And so maybe there's been an element of proving myself because I've been told since I was very young that I was never going to amount to anything. And so as soon as I got clean and sober, I went out and I got a degree. Then I got a book. Then I did a TED talk and all of these things. So maybe it was like I never felt good enough to just get sober and live. I had to get sober and get a degree. And then maybe it wasn't enough to just come out and live. Maybe I had to get to come out and then write a book. Not consciously, but maybe on a subconscious level, there was always this part of me that felt I had to achieve as well. So this is what I mean about reflecting. These are all the sort of things that have been coming up for me even before I did this, that doing this I've kind of helped me to bring out further and write down as a way of kind of letting go of a lot of the kind of grief around the life I thought I was living, because I thought I was going to be stacking up more and more achievements in the work I was doing. But all I really, really want to do, if I really, really look at it, is I just want I want to help people to find themselves and find their happiness. And actually the last message I ever want to give people is that you're not enough. I want to be telling people you are enough. And if you want to get clean and sober, that's enough. If you want to come out as trans, that's enough. So actually, I don't want to be like sending a message that after coming out, you've then got to go and write a book, or after getting clean and sober, you've got to go and get a degree, So actually, I'm enough just by living. Do you know what I mean? So I always want to do the work I'm doing. I'm not saying that I want to stop doing the work I'm doing. Doing the work I'm doing keeps me going. It's actually part of my recovery. In AA, we talk about doing service. And in AA, that's kind of working in the meetings, all different sorts of jobs that we do in AA. But doing service can be bigger than that. It can be working in the community. It can be doing volunteer work. Service for me is this. I do videos, I do podcasts, I do interviews, I do articles. A lot of my work that I do is for free. I don't charge for a lot of stuff that I do, which is why I have memberships and donation options that help me to keep doing the work I do. And I do that to give back. I do that to help other people to find their way. And that helps me to stay sober and to stay well, because for me, there is a saying in AA that you only keep what you have by giving it away. And there's so much truth in that. I feel so grateful to have the life I have today, which for me was started by recovery. I've just done a podcast this morning, which is probably why I'm quite pumped up, because I've been talking about AA, hence the t-shirt. But this all started for me in recovery. Once I got clean and sober, I was then able to discover I was transgender, and then finally start to sort out my mental health and all of this business. And I'm so grateful, because I thought my life was over. I never thought I'd get anywhere. So now, any chance I've got of helping other people, I jump at it. But to be able to now do that work in a more measured, balanced way is the way forward. So for me, I think the work is now in doing that, as I just said, in a more balanced way, so that it's kinder to me, so I can still do the work, but measured, so the videos, the occasional talks, podcast, and that's it for now. Because going into 2023, my focus has to be getting myself well, or as well as I can do with ME/CFS, because of course I don't know how much I'm going to recover, and no one really does. It's very much, you just don't know. You know, some people make a full recovery, some people make a full recovery and then relapse, some people make a partial recovery, some people don't recover at all, some people get worse, and you really do not know at all. But what I do know is that I had it so wrong, because for most of last year I was learning pacing techniques and all of these things with the end goal in sight of getting myself well enough to pick back up my work. Because the second book I was going to write was going to start in like November. I was going to start writing it. But then I had this realization in the summer that I wasn't well enough, and that the last thing I should be doing was trying to get well enough to pick up more work. I need to be getting better so that I can just start living, you know? So I've got that arse about face, as we say here in the UK. So now my mission is to come to more. I'm getting there to a place of acceptance that I can only do so much. Still not quite there, but that my main goal, my intention now in 2023 is to work on my wellness so that I can live more, not work more. There may be a case of like looking more at what I can do around some more passive income to earn a bit more money, some like jiggling things around so that I can do some of the stuff I used to do in a more manageable way to earn more money. I don't know, but my main focus for now has to be getting better to live more, not to work more, if that makes sense. So this is going to be a very long video. I probably should have said this, because this is just me really just talking to you about my goals for the year, which could go on forever. So if you haven't made a cup of tea, pause this, go and get a cup of tea, then come back down and press play and continue again, because this might go on for some time. So going ahead from January, I mentioned before Christmas that I'm actually starting some new medication. So it's actually going to be really rocky for me from January. Now is January, Finn. Now is January. It started yesterday, this did. Well, it's exactly 4 o'clock. I love it when I look at my watch and it's exactly a time. It just makes me feel like really nice. I don't know. Just 0400 looks nice. So it's the 10th of January. So yesterday, on the 9th of January, I started decreasing my venlafaxine, because I'm going to try out some of these medicines to see if it helps my orthostatic intolerance and suspected POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Whew, try saying that 10 times over. And of course, that's going to send me all over the place. I've already got those brain zaps starting. That's just by coming down by 37.5 milligrams. I've got those brain zaps starting. So it's going to be rocky anyway. So any idea of me... Oh, brains has gone. Yeah, any idea of me suddenly changing overnight to be this Finn that has a video up on a Tuesday and a blog up on a Thursday and can do this and do that, it's not going to happen anyway. If anything, I'm probably going to get worse, you know, going forward. And I think that's what my other intention is going forward this year, is I want to try and stop saying sorry, because there's nothing I can do about it, you know. I would love to say I'm going to get a video up every Tuesday, but I can't, you know, and there's no way I can. I'd love to say I'm going to record them all ahead of time and then edit them all ahead of time, so you've always got them for a Tuesday. But even that's impossible, because I've tried that, because that's all requires spoons. No matter what I do, there is no way that with ME/CFS I can have a system that allows me to do that. My ME/CFS is at the moderate to severe level, so I spend a lot of my time where I have days where I can barely move from the sofa and I've just got to lay there. I'm either wiped out with fatigue or migraine. I lost the first week of January to a migraine, and that will frequently happen. I'll either lose a week to a migraine or a week to fatigue, and then the days in between where I have a week where I'm pretty balanced, I still have ongoing fatigue where I've got to really, really manage my day and pace throughout a day. So a simple thing like record a video means, I will talk to you for like probably 40 minutes now, and then that's all I can do for a day because that's a lot of cognitive effort. So I have to lie down, have a rest afterwards. So that's the day gone. And then if I decide to edit that tomorrow, even light editing, paying that attention to the screen, it'll take me like an hour of editing, but I'll have to break that up. So that's another day, and if I've got to eat in that day as well, that involves like going to the kitchen and I've got to break that into segments as well, let alone washing that day. All these little things with MECFS, every single task has to be broken down, done slowly. It's an absolute logistical nightmare to manage. So trying to do anything to time is just impossible. So it's funny because I'm considerate, so I want to say sorry, but at the same time, it's also not my fault. So rather than that, I want to just kind of make it very well known that my name's Finn. I make videos, I share on social media, but I do it sporadically. Expect content from me and enjoy it when it arrives. End of, And that's it. I can promise you it will be there and it'll always be there, but I can't promise when it will. And I'm very lucky that most people who follow me get that, and I'm very lucky that my members get that as well, because members do get extra content, they get behind the scenes things, and they get additional pictures and things like that, but it's not to time. Sometimes members get like monthly behind the scenes, but often they don't get it every month, and then one month they'll just get like loads of stuff. But luckily most people understand that that's just how it is with me, and no apologies. I'm me, and if you want me in your life, that's how it is. That's what I've got to get used to saying going forward, and stop apologizing for what I can't control. So yeah, that is kind of my goal and intention for going forward. Work wise, it is a case of minimal is the way forward. If it's flexible, if it's low energy, if it's low demand, and if it's low to no deadline, I can do it. Otherwise it goes. If it's in terms of my personal life, if it gives me joy, if it's mutual energy, and if it's understanding and whatever, I'll do it. It's that kind of thing now with me. It's got to be of an understanding of my MECFS management comes first. Otherwise it goes, and it's tough, isn't it? Working with this therapist is really, really helping me to get my head around this, And as I say, looking back onto 2022 with this, despite the fact that it was, let's face it, a shit year in terms of health. I mean, just like went from the sublime to the ridiculous, from like doctors that just didn't want to help, and realizing how much stigma was involved in ME, and that I was going to be just as stigmatized with my physical health as I had been with my mental health and with my gender transition, and the awful PIP benefit saga that's still going on. I've got to go to appeal now. It's just hell. And then losing all of my business income pretty much because I wasn't physically able to work and still aren't. All that's just been awful. Absolutely awful. But as I keep saying, on the other hand, me and Chris are once again finding out how much of a team we are, because in the beginning it was terrifying for us both to not know how to manage this new me. And like, we found a way to adapt to that, where we can now both laugh. When my legs go wobbly, he does a little dance and I laugh about it. when my words don't come out properly, he'll do like a little Slim Shady rap and we'll laugh about it, you know? And we've found ways to have joy. We've changed the way we camp, even though we probably shouldn't be going camping because he has to do it all and Chris isn't well himself. We've managed to go camping a couple of times and we've still enjoyed that. We managed to go to Glastonbury, even though Chris said he'd never stepped foot in a festival. We went to Glastonbury, which we never would have done had I not got MECFS. Going via disabled camping made it possible, and he loved it, and who knew? And I'm so glad I got to do that because I was close to cancelling my ticket had Chris not said he'd come. And, you know, I realised that it was too much. It was way too much. Trying to drive a scooter around Glastonbury Festival was hard work. In the end, as you saw from my playlist, I'll link it in case you missed it. We did stick to the main stages, and I've decided that this year I'm not going. I saw you take a deep in breath there. I know it sounds shocking because everyone knows how much I love Glastonbury, but I've made that very difficult decision that this year I'm not going to go. I loved it. It was incredible, but it was too much with MECFS. It's too big to get around. That was the main issue, trying to drive a massive scooter when I get a lot of muscle aches when I'm tired, and trying to like negotiate around people was just too much. It was massively busy at Glastonbury as well, so really difficult decision. So what me and Chris have decided this year instead is to try a smaller festival where we can get around a bit easier. So that's what we're going to do. Very difficult decision, but to be able to try that together, and for this year now to try a new festival together, how amazing is that? You know, to do that differently. And to move into this wonderful home with a garden, you know, that has just been incredible, absolutely incredible. And for this condition to teach me the benefit of a slow life. In the beginning, I was going absolutely bonkers, not knowing what to do with myself, but I've learnt this pleasure in slowing down now and realising just how mad I was in some ways before with just this on the go, on the go, on the go. And learning just a simple pleasure in sometimes just sitting here and I look out the window and just watch the clouds and watch the birds, and remembering back in the day when I used to do that and realizing how long ago it is since I've done that, you know. And there's been so many joys this year, last year 2022, even around that. And I say this all the time and it sounds so cheesy every time I say it, but it is possible for two things to exist in one space of time. Things can be both shit and good at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive, you know. The thing is, when you share on social media, people often just see like one side of the story and think, you know, life is either wonderful or really good, depending on what people are sharing. But people's lives are always a mix of good and bad. You just don't always see it. It's just I'm sharing everything, you know, so you are hearing the both of everything. And the truth is, our life is amazing. We have each other and we love each other and we get through things together and we laugh despite everything. Even the difficult times, we find things to laugh about. And that's what's important. That being able to get through together as a team is what's crucially important. And I think that's even better than achieving a book, a degree, all of these things, is having that deepening connection with someone you love. You know, we'll be 5 years together this year, which is absolutely incredible. And, you know, this year we've got some tough stuff coming up. I'll have an appeal at some point, God knows when, and will I win? I don't know. I'm going to make a separate video coming up about that, catching up as to where I am with it. It's a nightmare that's still going on. That's horrible, dehumanizing, disgusting awfulness. And there's no denying that. But there's also lots of amazing stuff happening this year, which I'm yet to announce. There is some amazing stuff about to happen in February, which I'm soon to announce. That's a personal thing that's happening in February. And even though I said that stuff with my business is slowing down, there's still some exciting stuff happening career-wise that will also be announced in the next kind of month or so. So stay tuned for that. So, you know, there's still amazing adventures. And my life isn't over just because I've got ME. You know, it's gone in a different direction. So even though it's like, oh, it's so sad, he was, you know, he just gone his gender transition and his life was just taken off and now it's all gone. It hasn't, actually. It's just gone in a different direction than what I thought. But I'm just starting to realise that maybe this new direction isn't that bad. Maybe the direction I was heading in, this super high achiever direction, actually wasn't the best direction for me and wasn't the direction I ultimately really wanted anyway. Maybe this new, quieter direction, where I'm still doing the kind of awareness raising, helping work, but in a different way, is better. It's going to lead me somewhere else. Who knows? But, you know, I'm following my instincts and I'm reflecting and I'm growing. And that's what life's all about, isn't it? So, yeah, intentions going forward are to be open and to place my health first. And aims are to just see where it takes me, really. And to enjoy sharing it with you. One thing I would like to try doing, actually, in the next couple of months is to start writing again on my blog. I have put off that because I'm scared of making mistakes. Now, on here, as you can tell, my videos, you know, I used to make them succinct and make them really short because I thought that was the best thing to do, but I've just stopped worrying about what is the best thing, and it's been well received. And I was worried about that because I thought that perhaps people wouldn't then hire me to speak, but that hasn't stopped happening. It's fine. Chris actually said something to me that's helped me with this. He said, people spend lots of money on marble, and marble's got lots of chinks and fault lines and everything running through it, but people pay a lot of money for it because it's pure and natural and beautiful. And he said, Finn, you're like marble. So market yourself like that. And it's true, isn't it? I'm so honest and transparent about who I am, and I share it so honestly. So what if sometimes how I present is a little bit less succinct, if I fall over my words, if my ME gets in the way and my cognitive stuff goes up the wall? So what? I'm a beautiful piece of marble that's just flawed but gorgeous and deserves being paid lots of money for. You know, so in the same way that I've explained with my videos, look, these are my personal videos. I might get my words mixed up on here sometimes, but if I do a public talk, I will be a lot more well rehearsed and polished. In the same way, I might do my blogs the same way. I might do like a little caveat. In my blogs, there might be spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes, but these are just for my personal use. If I were to write for you professionally, they would be more polished. This is because I have ME and I just want to get my writing out, you know? So I might try do something like that, just so I am still practicing my writing and getting my writing out there. What do you think? Good way of still doing it, just so I'm still writing, because it's upsetting me not to get my writing out there, but at the same time, I haven't got the time and space to always correct my writing, even using a spelling corrector, you know, so it could be a good way just to quickly churn some writing out and not worry too much about it, in the same way as I quickly churn a video out and don't worry about editing it too much, just to add a little caveat at the bottom. Could be a way going forward. Something to think about anyway. So yes, thanks for listening to this, listening or watching, because I know some of you have said that you love these longer videos because you stick your headphones in and listen to them like a podcast. So if you do that, fabulous idea. I'm always glad to give you longer videos if you're enjoying them. I've just decided, I'm adding extra bits, just decided to stop pleasing the algorithm. That's another thing I was trying to do that I'm now stopping in 2023. I was just trying to do what, you know, this kind of marketing ideas of like, make your videos this length, always like say these things, do these keywords, blah, blah, blah. But bollocks to all that now, because I'm no longer trying to kind of please the algorithm and all of that, because that was too much energy. You know, I haven't got time for that business. I just want to make them, get my words out there, make a difference to the people that matters, end of. So sometimes you're going to get like 40-minute videos. Sometimes you might get 4-minute videos. You never know. But here I am. This is me. If you want me, come get it, basically. On that note, I only have a couple of announcements this week. Do I have 2 announcements this week? I do. I have 2 announcements this week. One is, I do like my announcements. Makes you want to feel like I need some bongs. Dong, dong, dong. I have a thank you this week to KJ. Thank you, KJ. KJ is already a member, but he has also sent me a Ko-fi donation at Christmas to say Merry Christmas. So thank you very much, KJ. And I also have a new member, Sonni Love. I love that name. Sonni Love. And it sounds like we need to form a band with that name, who has become a member of the Friends of Finn via YouTube. So massive welcome, Sonni Love. I did put a welcome on the Friends of Finn YouTube community thread on YouTube. Hopefully you found that, and it's also got a link to our latest Friends of Finn video on there as well. While I remember, I just want to remind you, Friends of Finn, that you have a new members video, which if you are a Friends of Finn member via YouTube, so if you've signed up via YouTube, you will find all of your exclusive videos on the community tab. If you go to my YouTube homepage, and at the top you'll see the community tab or the members tab. If you click on there, you'll find all of your exclusive posts. If you are a Friends of Finn via Ko-fi, if you go to my Ko-fi page and you click on the posts, you'll find all of your previous exclusive videos there. In both cases, make sure you are subscribed and you tick notifications. So on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed and you click the notifications bell. Then whenever I upload any exclusive content, you should be notified by email. And on Ko-fi, make sure you follow my Ko-fi page, and then also you should be notified when I upload exclusive content, because I think sometimes members are missing my exclusive uploads for you. If you have any issues, do email me. You should have access to my email in both cases. Ko-fi members, you can message me directly on Ko-fi. That's one of your perks. You get instant access to a message to me. So either way, contact me if you need anything at any time. As members, you are free to contact me and give me a shout if you can't find your memberships. In both cases, when you're a full-time member, you also have access to Discord. And even if you don't want to join in on the forum, you are welcome to pop in anytime, and you can find all of your freebies on there. There's always lots of extra pictures and videos in Discord as well. And even if you don't join in, you are free to just lurk and be there for the videos and pictures. It's absolutely fine. Whatever works best for you. Right, I will leave it there. If you want to let me know any of your intentions, aims, reflections for the year gone by and the year ahead, I'd love to hear them. So just pop them in the section below, or any thoughts in general, just drop them in the section below. Always love to hear your thoughts, and it does take me a while sometimes to get round to your comments. Some of you know that sometimes you get a notification like a month later that I've replied, but I do try to reply to as many as I possibly can, so I always read them eventually. So yeah, please do leave me a comment in the section below. Sending you lots of love, and I will be making a video next week about reducing my vendor flaxine and talking a bit about that. Yeah. Loads of love, everybody. Have a good rest of week. See you next week.